Core Concepts for Open Architecture AV Design. Chapter 8. Programming ARC Wall Panels. The chapter learning objectives are: list different control types in Symetrix ARC-Series and provide use cases. Apply control numbers in Composer to link parameters to controllers. Create and edit menus and menu items for appropriate controllers. Set and change addresses for ARC controllers. Use ARC-2E to control basic audio functions and complex logic-based events. Program the ARC-SW4E switches as momentary, latched, or radio buttons. Configure a simple control of one or two parameters using ARC-K1E. Use simple analog controls and external control inputs to provide volume control, source selection, preset selection, or contact closure with minimal programming. This chapter covers programming Symetrix ARC Wall Panels, including the ARC-2E, Modular ARCs, and the analog RC3 remote control. One line of Symetrix remote control devices is the ARC-Series. ARC stands for Adaptive Remote Control. Also offered is the RC3 analog control. While not strictly speaking an ARC controller, the RC3 is a very useful and simple-to-use device. It is often employed in projects with additional ARC controllers, so we'll talk about it here. Composer uses control numbers to identify which parameter to adjust, based on the control command from the ARC control. The ARC-2E displays up to 24 menus, each with up to 16 items used to control basic audio functions such as volume, preset, and source selection, or complex logic-based events such as room combining. To assign a parameter to an ARC-2E, right-click on the specific object to be controlled, for example a fader handle, then select Set Up to Remote Control. From the Setup Remote Control window, choose Add New ARC. Select ARC-2E from the drop-down menu, then select OK. The ARC-2E will be created. Then either auto-assign the remote control number to the object, or specify a control number by selecting Configure. The fader in this example is now programmed for ARC-2E control. To edit a menu, double-click the desired menu, or select the menu and click the Edit button. ARC description displays the ARC-2E name and can be edited with up to 31 characters. The RS-485 address is used to set or change the ARC addressing in Composer. To change the physical address of an ARC-2E, use the dial switches on the rear. Make sure the RS-485 address in Composer matches the physical address of the ARC. The Menu section of the Edit ARC-2E window is used to edit or remove selected menus, and add preset menus. To edit a menu, double-click the desired menu, or select the menu and click the Edit button. This section of the Edit ARC-2E menu is used for allowing the ARC's menu button to function as an Enter key, as well as programming the menu to wrap around or scroll between the available items. The Edit ARC-2E menu is used to edit the unique name of the menu, up to 31 characters. It is also used to edit the remote control number of the selected menu. Continuous menu controls include low limit, high limit, and initial value. The scale value for setting incremental steps is set by adjusting the resolution slider. The default value is 3.571% and equals a 3 dB increment. Button or selector controls include initial menu item number, menu item order, item name, and item value. A preset menu can be added from the Edit ARC-2E window by selecting Add Preset Menu. The Menu Items portion of this window is used to add, remove, and reorder the items of the preset menu. To edit the name of an item or set an item as the default, use the drop-down menu to select the item. Then edit the name or check the box to make it the default item. Preset menus can also be set to require a menu button press to recall the selected preset, and the menu can be programmed to wrap around or scroll between the available items. The menu brightness, inactive behavior, and idle behavior are set in this section of the Edit ARC-2E window. To set a display message for when the ARC-2E is idle, check the box for display message and enter the message into the text field. The Add Notes button opens the Notes dialog box to enter or edit notes for the ARC menu currently being edited. The final step is to save the ARC programming. The ARC-SW4E features 4 buttons that are programmable as momentary, latched, or radio buttons. In this example, the ARC-SW4E is programmed as a preset trigger. The LEDs of the ARC-SW4E indicate which of the 4 presets are active. To program the ARC-SW4E buttons as preset triggers, first program and store 4 presets. Add a 4-button radio module from the toolkit, under Control Modules, Control Inputs. Now, from the toolkit under Control Modules, Control Accessories, add 2 dual preset triggers. Wire the 4-button radio module to the preset triggers. Next, open each of the preset triggers and enter the preset number to be triggered. Now, go back and open the 4-button radio module and label each of its buttons with its respective preset names. Then, right-click on the fader at the bottom of the module and select Set Up to Remote Control. From the Setup Remote Control window, select Add New ARC. From the drop-down menu, select ARC-SW4E. Next, either auto-assign the control number or specify the control number to be assigned to the radio button fader. Then select OK. The ARC-SW4E has now been assigned control of the fader. Next, open Remote Control Manager and double-click Modular ARC from the ARCs tab that will open the Edit Modular ARC window. Use the dial switches on the rear of the ARC-SW4E to set the physical address. Make sure the physical address of the ARC matches the address in Composer. Auto-dim and locking features are also enabled from the main tab of the Edit Modular ARC window. The main tab of the Edit Modular ARC window is used to edit up to 31 characters of the description of the ARC. It is also used to set the RS-485 address in Composer. The Switches tab is used to select the operational mode of the ARC-SW4E. The different modes are disabled: independent switches, radio button or custom radio button. Knob select and set is reserved for a modular ARC using an ARC K1E and ARC EX4E, which will be explained later in this chapter. The ARC-SW4E is a preset trigger in this example. Only one preset is active at a time, so radio button is the selected operational mode. The control number assigned from the Setup Remote Control window is already assigned to this ARC. If independent switches or custom radio buttons had been chosen, the drop-down menu would be used to assign a separate control number to each switch or button. When in independent switches or custom radio button modes, individual switches can be set to trigger presets, act as momentary switches, or have a particular button be on at power up. The on and off value of each switch or button may also be set in these modes. These options are not available in radio button mode. Now, configure the LEDs of the ARC-SW4E. For the radio button example, the LEDs are set to automatically match the switch that has been selected. When using independent switches and custom radio buttons, individual operations or control numbers may be assigned to the LEDs. Because radio buttons are being used, the control number of the 4 radio button module is also used for the LEDs. The ARC-K1E features a push-button rotary encoder providing simple control of one or two parameters in the Symetrix DSP hardware. This is typically used for volume control. To program the ARC-K1E, start with the channel 1 fader of this gain module. Right-click the fader and select Set Up to Remote Control. From the Setup Remote Control window, choose Add New ARC. From the drop-down menu, choose ARC-K1E. The ARC-K1E will then be added to the list of available remote control devices. Use the drop-down menu to assign the fader control to encoder number 1A. Next, either auto-assign the control number or specify the control number to be assigned to the channel 1 gain fader. Then select OK. Go back to the gain module, right-click the fader for channel 2 and select Set Up to Remote Control. Notice the ARC-K1E is already selected. Use the drop-down menu to select encoder number 1B. Next, either auto-assign the control number or specify the control number to be assigned to the channel 2 gain fader. Then select OK. Control assignments have now been set for both faders. Open Remote Control Manager and select Modular ARC from the ARC tab. The main tab of the Edit Modular ARC window is used to edit up to 31 characters of the description of the ARC. It is also used to set the address for the ARC in Composer. Use the dial switches on the back of the ARC-K1E to set the physical address of the ARC. Make sure the physical address of the ARC matches the address in Composer. Auto-dim and locking features are enabled from the main tab of the Edit Modular ARC window. The Knobs tab is used to edit or adjust settings for each encoder. Use the drop-down menu to change between encoder A and encoder B. Each encoder is enabled or disabled from this window. The control number can also be edited here. Use the resolution slider to adjust the dB increment per click. The default is 1.190% and is equal to 1 dB per click. The initial value, low value, and high value can all be adjusted to customize the amount of end-user control. Wrap values and LED scaling can be selected from the Edit Modular ARC window. Use the LED display mode drop-down menu to choose between disabled, one on at a time, bar up, and bar down modes. Bar up is the default mode for the ARC-K1E. To require a confirmation by pressing the encoder before it sends the control value, check the box under Encoder Options. Now, select OK to complete the programming of the ARC-K1E. The ARC-EX4E is identical in function to the ARC-SW4E and provides a low-cost method to expand the capabilities of either an ARC-SW4E or an ARC-K1E. Up to 4 ARC-EX4Es may be combined with an ARC-K1E, and up to 3 ARC-EX4Es may be combined with an ARC-SW4E. The ARC-EX4E cannot be used as a standalone ARC, nor can it be combined with an ARC-2E or ARC-3. The programming and configuration of a combination of an ARC-SW4E and an ARC-EX4E is the same process as configuring the ARC-SW4E, except more buttons are available. The programming and configuration of the combination of an ARC-K1E and an ARC-EX4E provides the knob select and set option. This allows control of multiple faders from a single encoder. To program for knob select and set, first open the module to be controlled. Right-click the first fader and select Set Up to Remote Control. From the Setup Remote Control window, select Add New ARC. Next, select ARC-K1E plus 1 ARC-EX4E from the drop-down menu. Next, select OK and then open Remote Control Manager. From Remote Control Manager, select the Modular ARC from the ARC tab. 3 tabs are displayed: Main, Switches, and Knobs. Just like ARC SW4E and ARC K1E, use the Main tab to edit the ARC description, edit the ARC address in Composer, and enable or disable auto-dim and lock settings. Next, from the Switches tab, select Knob Select and set for the operational mode. Then, select the Knobs tab. Individual encoder controls are the same as in ARC K1E. Use the drop-down menu to select the desired encoder to assign the fader. 8 encoders are now available for control assignment. For each on the A and B side of the ARC, select encoder number 1A switch 1. Then select OK. Go back to the gain module. Right-click the Channel 2 fader and select Set up Remote Control. In the Set up Remote Control window, the ARC has been selected already. Use the drop-down menu to select encoder number 1A switch 2. Then select OK. Repeat these steps for the remaining faders. To verify all the assignments have the correct control numbers and faders, open Remote Control Manager and expand the ARC just configured. Now, selecting each button will cause the encoder to move the corresponding assigned fader. Many systems require only a simple and cost-effective single point of control. For these situations, analog controls are connected to Symetrix DSP's external control inputs to provide volume control, source selection, preset selection, or a contact closure, all with minimal programming. To program analog control on a Symetrix DSP, first right-click on the Symetrix DSP and choose Unit Properties. Then choose Configure External Control Inputs. In this example, the pod is selected for input number 1. Physically connect the RC3 to the DSP, and use the Configure External Control window to calibrate and set minimum and maximum levels. Next, open the module to be controlled. For this example, a gain fader is controlled with the analog pot. Right-click the fader and choose Set up Remote Control. Choose the local analog input of the DSP the analog control is connected to in the Set up Remote Control window. Then use the drop-down menu to select the analog input the pot is connected to. The analog pot has now been configured. To configure a switch or contact closure, the process is the same. To configure the mute of this same module to be controlled by an analog switch, select input number 2 from the Configure External Control Inputs window. Select the dual switch closure. Right-click the mute button and select Set up to Remote Control. From the drop-down menu of the local analog input, choose Switch 2A. The analog switch has now been configured to control the mute button. In summary, one line of remote control devices from Symetrix are called Adaptive Remote Controls or ARCs. Control numbers identify which parameter to adjust based on the control command from the ARC control. To assign a parameter to an ARC2E, right-click on the specific object to be controlled, then select Set up to Remote Control. From the Set up Remote Control window, choose Add New ARC to edit a menu, double-click it, or select it and click Edit. ARC description displays the ARC2E name and can be edited with up to 31 characters. The RS485 address is used to set or change the ARC addressing. The ARC2E displays up to 24 menus, each with up to 16 items used to control basic audio functions such as volume, preset, and source selection, or complex logic-based events such as room combining. The ARC SW4E features 4 switches that are programmable as momentary, latched, or radio buttons. The ARC K1E features a push-button rotary encoder providing simple control of 1 or 2 parameters. Many systems only require a simple and cost-effective single point of control. For these situations, analog controls are connected to Symetrix DSP external control inputs to provide volume control, source selection, preset selection, or contact closure. All with minimal programming.